We are live. Mark's dancing.
Live. It's a revival.
Mark's in a mood today, which is awesome.
Bro, dude, we got two more games. We finish our undefeated U11 football season, bro.
That's awesome, man.
Undefeated, man. Undefeated.
For those of you that don't know, Mark's son is like a football prodigy. And he is just destroying everybody. It's amazing.
So I got a confession to make too. You guys remember Matt Castle? He was in the Pro Bowl in 2010, led the Chiefs to their best season in 10 years. His kid's on my line. I got Matt Castle and Preston Lobliner on the same line. We are unstoppable. You cannot run on us. You cannot run on Castle and Lobliner. Not running on us.
Not running on us.
Nah, you can't pass it either because they're up in your face before the ball's even snapped, dude. Talk about the genetic lottery. And Matt, and not only that, like his mom's like 6 feet tall. The kid's gonna be 8'2". Yeah, he's a monster. He's a monster.
He probably eats like 8,000 calories a day.
Nah, that's on his off days, man. You know, he wants to keep lean for the girls. You know,
keep lean for the girls. That's good.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like. I think he'll be okay when he goes to high school with girls. I think he'll be just fine.
He'll be all right. That's always amazing too. Like people I hope he has friends. Have them play sports. I mean, that actually works into what we're talking about. Like, you know, people always worry about their kids being socialized and everything like that, or their kid being happy and everything like that. Have a child play sports and not just play it. Have your child find the sport your child likes to try to be good at, like the one that catches their attention. And foster that shit. I remember a couple years ago, you had Preston trying just about everything because he hadn't really found football, he hadn't found his thing
yet. Yeah, he started in soccer. Wrestling, he did because his brother did. He ended up messed around in one state. Right. But I mean, my kids have the advantage of, you know, they're literally in an athletic household. We own a youth performance facility, but it's really not that hard. Like, and you don't have to have, but so soccer expensive, right? Yeah. But rec soccer isn't. You play rec soccer for $30 a season. Little League, you don't have to play club baseball. Little League's cheap. Like a lot of people, like club sports has priced everything out. Like ECNL soccer is the biggest bullshit racket in the history of the world. But you go and you play like, you know, rec baseball, rec soccer. You can do something year round. I prefer that. Rec basketball. Play a bunch of sports. Wrestling, even at the club level, is dirt cheap. Just go have fun. Let your kids get out there, play. And our kids always have friends. Like my son's been to a birthday party every weekend for the last. We have one this weekend. It's a Halloween party.
It's awesome.
Oh, it's the best.
It's good socialization. Somebody just put my kids are in BJJ, whether they like it or not. That's smart, actually. That's smart.
Oh, you know, man. How did this video already get limited ads? How did we already get flagged? We haven't even done anything yet. I mean, we haven't even talked about anything.
Give me a second.
Oh my goodness. How, dude, I get my stuff. So what happens? They always like reverse it, but it's after everybody's watched it.
Yeah.
It's like, you guys.
I get that same shit too.
We're not getting YouTube money, guys. We're just not getting that YouTube money.
No, hell no.
But the thing is, so if your kids play sports, not only are they more likely to make the right decisions, be healthier, not be fat, and have friends, but the friends they have will be better kids because they're athletes and they don't have much time to really mess up. What I've noticed, like you see girls like young girls dressing in a very inappropriate way. I coach girl athletes. Athletes not as much. They're dressing like what we used to consider tomboys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're just wearing like pants and a shirt. They might wear a cutoff because they're in good shape, but they're not dressing like, you know, the girls who are trying to get attention. Because generally speaking, if you're an athlete, you're already getting attention when you're dropping points on people in basketball or whatever you do in lacrosse, scoring goals in soccer, scoring touchdowns or tackling people in football. You don't have to make up for your lack of popularity because you're already popular because you're a baller.
Yeah. So that kind of works into what we plan on talking about today. So weak men make weak fathers. I really believe this. And weak fathers make weak children. I 100% believe this. Yes. And I saw this article and I sent it to Mark, and that's why we're live today. But I saw this article and I was like almost kind of hopeful from the title, because the title of the article is Dads and Partners, You Need to Get Fit and Healthy Too. Now, the partners, I don't what the fucking understand. Like, you mean dads and mothers, because like, I don't understand. But dads and partners, you need to get fit and healthy too. I was like, oh shit, we're starting to see this move around a little bit. But, you know, when you read the article a little bit, which we will here in a second, I'm just disappointed in how society has gotten to the stage where, like, we view fitness as just this very such a huge afterthought. Yeah. And we view being a strong person as an afterthought. I also we'll probably play a video here in a little bit. Have you seen the video going around? I posted it on my Twitter.
I have not.
But it's like these women who, like, they're asked, would you kill for your child? Right.
I saw that. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. My wife sent me this, and like, my wife sent me a version of it where it's like a bunch of these women who are like, would you kill for your child? And they're like, I don't know. Oh no, you mean kill somebody? Like, they're like fucking pretending like they wouldn't do it. And then my wife sends me a scene where it's John Wick, you know, fucking everybody up. Right.
Yeah.
Because that's how she would be. And I'm just like, how are you such a weak parent? If you are not ready to kill for your children, why are you having children? Like, they would be like, this is no shit. Like, my son's 23. If somebody fucked with him, they'd be inventing words to describe the level of violence. Like words don't currently. If somebody fucked with one of Mark's children, I can guarantee you this: we are riding like fucking Wyatt Earp and fucking Doc Holliday. It would be fucking ugly.
How would you not kill for your kid? If you won't kill for your kid, what's the point of living? Your point as a parent is like, so I also want to know context. Like, so if you say, would you kill for your kid? Like, did someone steal their lunch money? Did someone hurt them? The answer is unequivocally, I would kill an entire society. I would commit genocide for my child. That's just how it is. And I don't understand. But then again, they interviewed women. And I just want to kind of be a little bit clear about this. That's a woman answer. Like, women are not supposed to be the aggressors. Women are the caretakers. It is up to the men to kill for their children. I'm sorry. Yep, women are more feelings, emotions. Men are more facts, and men are there to provide and to protect their family. Women, unfortunately, like, biologically speaking, I just don't know if they're wired to have that vindictive, I will kill you if you mess with their family. And that's why biologically, even in the animal kingdom, like, males protect the females. You hear about Tim Pool told a story about this rooster who died protecting the chicken coop. Yeah. And that was his whole purpose on this earth, was to protect those damn chickens.
Yep.
Our purpose is as cocks, is to protect our women. I mean, that's the bottom line. I think the problem is men think like women now, where men have been feminized by the feminist movement, where men have been told that, oh, you need to be look, here's the deal. People comment, whether right or wrong, about, dude, or they ask me questions like, how do you parent? Like, how are you doing this? Like, why are your kids doing these things? Why are your kids, you know, doing, presumably based on what you see on social media, good things? Dude, I'll be honest with y'all. I'm not a cuddler. When my kids were babies, I was like, what am I going to do? Sit here and, like, that's good. You love that shit. Go hold that kid. As soon as the kids, you know, obviously I held my kids. I hugged them. I'm a very huggy person, but I wasn't my wife. I wasn't a nurturer. But when it came time to show them sports, you know, that's where I stepped in. So, like, a man's role is not that. I think we forgot that men are supposed to be the ones, when a kid falls down, my wife's like, oh my goodness, you cut yourself. A man's going to be like, dude, shut up, get up, rub some dirt on it and play.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, I also grew up in a generation where if we got hurt, we were afraid to tell our parents because we'd get in trouble. Yeah. You know, like, but it's almost like the sympathy train is going. So I'll read this article real quick, and we can.
Yeah, please.
Give me 1 second. So fucking ridiculous. All right, so this is Dads and Partners. You need to get fit too. Now that you've uploaded TikTok sharing the exciting news that you're having a baby on the way, what's next for your supportive parent? Which, by the way, like, the whole baby thing on TikTok is very weird, by the way. But here are some things you can do to get into good parent shape. Good parent shape. Here's how low the fucking bar is set for men right now. Stop smoking. If you're still smoking or vaping, do whatever you can do to quit. I agree with this. I really do. But we know the secondhand smoke can have effects on your pregnant partner and you, this person's, the clinical obstetrics and gynecological and direct of labor and delivery at whatever. And while marijuana is legal, we know that there is some association with smaller gestational birth weights among babies exposed to marijuana. And we don't have a super clear understanding of how exposure of these fumes will affect babies in long term. So far, the article is stop smoking, vaping, and doing fucking marijuana and drugs. If you have not,
the woman smoking or the man smoking and her breathing in the fumes?
The man smoking and her breathing in the fumes. But
I mean, what kind of person would do that?
But still, if you smoke, it's bad for you. But if you smoke in front of your pregnant wife, I mean, maybe you should have been kept out of the fucking gene pool to begin with. Because you obviously got some slow swimmers there, motherfucker. Like, I mean, holy shit. But parents should stop smoking while expecting a newborn. Fucking, oh my God, genius. Holy shit. This is a great time to motivate each other to get a good night's sleep, eat healthily, and take walks together. Good night's sleep, depending on what they mean by eat healthily, I'm all down for. I think that's awesome.
Yep.
And take walks together, I'm all down for. Okay. If you have high blood pressure, make sure you're keeping it under control. Get vaccinated, and this includes the flu shot, COVID-19, and RSV.
Sponsored by Pfizer. Where's Travis Kelce when you need him? Guys, what the... How does that even make its way into the... When have you ever read an article before 2020 and it said get vaccinated? Like, when have you ever read that? How is this even in the article? Why would I get a flu? Can someone tell me why I would get a flu shot? Please enlighten me why a healthy 43-year-old male would get a flu shot.
I don't have a good answer for you. And that's speaking from somebody from working in healthcare. I can tell you this, dude. Every time I got the flu shot, I got the flu pretty fucking bad.
Yeah.
I got the flu pretty fucking bad. Do you know what I don't get anymore? The flu. Like, I had a little stomach thing going on the other day, but I might have even eaten something I was allergic to. But holy shit, like, I remember when I worked in healthcare, like the last time I got the flu, I worked in healthcare. It was so bad. I finally got home. I slept in my suit. Like, I literally laid down. I literally laid down on bed. My wife covered me with a blanket, and I was so sick. And I had just gotten the flu shot because when you go from hospital to hospital to hospital, especially during flu season, they were making me get it. And I have not gotten a flu shot since, and I have not gotten seriously sick since. And
I can't even picture you in a suit right now, bro.
I know. If I can avoid it, never again. Like, don't get me wrong. For no morbidity or alchemy or even ambrosia of any kind, I'd wear a suit for you motherfuckers. But I plan on never doing it again. So I flew to California, and I didn't want to ever go to California, but I'd do it again tomorrow if you wanted to. I had a great time.
Orange County doesn't count,
dude. But I had such a fucking and it was awesome. Orange County, Florida, like it's like Florida in California. It really was. It very much. I felt very, very, very at home. But in my mind, I'm like, well, how many blue-haired people are going to accost me? You know what I mean? Like,
dude. So we go to the gym. We're in the locker room, and the first thing is like, you're not a fucking Democrat, are you?
Yeah. Like some fucking dude, butt ass, fucking naked, walks up to me, fist bumping,
just walking around like his penis isn't there.
Yeah. Like, dude.
It's just like nonchalantly walking around with his penis out.
And he's fist bumping people. I'm like, I don't know, bro. I don't know.
Just make sure your fist doesn't go too low. None of that.
Yeah, none of that. Anyway, we're going to keep reading. Sign up for childbirth classes. While fewer than 50% of first-time parents take a prenatal class, this is actually one of the smartest things you can do to prepare for become parents. I have no idea why, unless you don't pick up a book. Like, my wife read when she was pregnant. I wasn't in the picture yet, but when she was pregnant, she read every fucking book. She still has most of them. She read every fucking book. But the thing about child birthing classes and childcare classes now, you got to wonder what slant they have to them. You know, that would be. And if it's from this article, they're going to make sure you're vaccinated before you go. And don't get me wrong, the vaccines are all perfectly safe because the FDA says so.
It does not, even though they had something, which I don't even think the CDC read this, but they said something about it affecting higher myocarditis rates in young males, which I thought maybe I encourage the CDC to reread that. I think they made a mistake because as far as I'm concerned, they're safe and effective for everyone, like they've been telling us this whole time.
Well, I mean, it's been tested on 10 mice. This last
I think
one
it was a typo. It was a typo.
Mice,
some intern messed up. You know, I don't think it's true. I personally would give it to anybody, including my children and my animals, my dogs.
Yeah, I plan on getting like 8. I'm just
in addition to the 8 you already have.
Yeah, just like I'm just gonna go in one day. It's like do 4 on each side, and then see what happens.
I'm gonna ask my TRT doctor to combine it with my testosterone. So every time I inject steroids, I can make sure I also have it in there.
That's commitment. That is commitment. You're gonna go. You go to one of those pharmaceutical, like one of the places, the compounding places, and you'll have them compound your TRT. Your custom blend your TRT along with the Pfizer vaccine for RSV, flu, and COVID. I bet what could go wrong? I will bet you become a superhuman.
Nothing will go wrong. You combine testosterone with the vaccine, bro.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Like you're pretty much, I mean, you're pretty much winning the Mr. Olympia at that point.
Absolutely. I mean,
I don't have to work out anymore.
It's just going to supercharge everything. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm really excited for that breakthrough we just had. I'm going to call. Yeah. Actually, you know what, guys? I'll be right back. I got to go set this out.
All right. So, childbirthing classes are highly encouraged for parents. Taking classes will enable you to be emotionally ready to support your partner for the labor and birth experience.
I didn't support shit. I was like, oh my God, look how big the vagina can get. That thing's huge. It gets enormous, guys. I don't know. That thing's, and then afterwards, for those of you who had kids, if you're ever like, let's say you get intimate after and your wife's like, oh, you feel so big. I'm like, you're a liar. I've seen what that thing is capable of.
Yeah. I've bared witness. So
I've seen what that thing can do.
You'll learn about the physiology of labor, what offerings to keep your partner comfortable and de-escalate concerns. And I'm not against taking these classes, people. So, I mean, I'm not against them. I just think again, we need to become a race of people that start doing for ourselves that more than this. Like these are how apparently a man becomes a father becomes a man now. So when you take class, confidence will increase and your fears will decrease. Like who really? I mean, anyway, be supportive and be there. Plan for postpartum stage. So this had very little to do with being a man. This had more.
That was a vaccine sales pitch, man.
Yeah.
Like that was literally the main point of it. The only thing I saw, maybe it's because I'm looking for it, was get a vaccine. Hey, so this guy's lying. This guy's totally lying. Yeah, no. That shot did nothing but make them awesomer.
Yeah,
and
awesomer.
That obviously was from just coincidence. I just had to correct that. I hate when people spread misinformation on our chat. No misinformation, guys. They're going to send you the gulags for that one.
But real deal, Nathaniel, we hope the best for your uncle and your cousin.
Yeah, I'm sorry to make that a joke. That's not. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. It's still funny. I mean, like, I'm sorry, but here's the thing, guys. I hate to say this to everybody, but we told you so. Okay, you can check my shit, but you can check my shit back fucking 3.5 years. Literally, over 3 years ago, I said, I don't care who the fuck is president. I don't care what fucking company makes it. I'm gonna wait 5 or 6 years and see how the rest of the yins are doing before I take a fucking experimental vaccine from corrupt companies in a corrupt industry. Done in a portion of the time, all over. And this is the thing. And this is why I think that people misconstrue some shit. It was not dangerous to me, and therefore it was not going to stop. The boogeyman cold was not dangerous to me, and it was not going to stop me from transmitting or getting it anyway. So,
I'm a little bit. We're a little different. I'm actually a huge fan of the technology.
I think the technology is amazing.
I just think we needed more time to vet it and to perfect it. It's not done. But in the future, I think that mRNA will change the game. Like I've actually talked to some people about its application in performance enhancing drugs, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And it is a game changer. I can't even explain what I was told, but it was at the point where I'm like, whoa, this is cool. So
the concept you're talking about is that it will actually change the person's level of performance. Like it's not, you'll become the generator for the enhancing substance.
Yes.
Is what they're trying to do. Right. Yeah. I've read up on that.
And like they've made good progress too.
Yeah. Where they would change it so your body itself would have less estrogen or more testosterone and shit like that. Like, I mean, it's the technology is insanely genius. My worry is that like it's one brand new. It should be tested. Like we should wait another 10 years. Like it should be shelved to wait another 10 years. We should see what the results are and then keep perfecting it and everything like that.
Yeah.
But you know, and here's the thing. We should always focus on what you and I talk about all the time. Get fit, get healthy, especially, I mean, here's my thing. If you're a dude and your waist is bigger than your shoulders, you're not a man. I mean, you're not a man. If your waist is bigger around than your shoulders are around, you're not a man. You may be a male, but you're not a man. That's pathetic, bro. I mean, it really is.
I think that you know, looking at everything, I give females a lot more leeway for being out of shape. Now, I'm not talking about 600 pounds. I'm talking about like out of shape, like overweight, because females have hormones that are not conducive to being lean. They just don't. Yeah. Men have testosterone. Women also are more prone to thyroid issues, PCOS. So when you talk about like, it's like when you hear people make excuse about being fat, it's always women's issues, right? Like PCOS, thyroid issues. Men have no excuse. Sorry, guys. The only excuse is you eat too fucking much and you don't do enough exercise. That's the only reason. Women, there can be, when they talk about, well, what about this? What about this? What about this? It's always females. It's never male conditions. Never. It is very rare for a male to have a condition that would cause uncontrollable weight gain. Very rare.
Very rare. Very rare.
And it's fixable.
Normally fixable through good nutrition, which is the fucked up thing. Like, you know, most of the time when guys have like super low T, it's because they've eaten themselves a super low T.
Yeah.
You know, like the lack of of fatty acids, the lack of you inciting your body to want to produce it by putting yourself in some resistance training or at least some physically hard shit. Like if you can't remember the last time you were breathing hard from activity, you know, I mean, you're not a man. We need to get back to that. Like, and people, I'm sure people are like, well, you know, what's good for me is not good for, like, we are the warriors of our species. Men are supposed to be the warriors. Like, because we're not pushing no babies through our penis hole, and you know the shit women go through on a monthly basis with their periods and shit like that. Most of us would just be like, not be able to deal with that shit. We are meant to be the bullet sponges.
Well, I work in a gym every day, and on days I don't travel, and it's funny because dudes will come into the gym after a layoff, be like, yeah, you know, I've gained some weight. I just had a baby. I'm like, you did not have a baby. She had a baby. You do not have a reason to be fat right now. In fact, you have every reason to not be fat. You have every reason to be working on yourself, working on your health. Because right now, you just gained a whole nother life you're responsible for.
Yeah, that's such a good point. Men, or males, I should say. If you think you gained weight because you guys just had a baby, it's not sympathy weight. You're just lazy as fuck. Like what the fuck? I mean,
I look, man, I think now going back to weak men make weak fathers, you know, we're talking about this. Like, if you look at the inner city, I just had you guys know Gina. How do you Gina Florio, I believe is her last name. I was on her podcast earlier. We just talked about this, but you know, if you look at what's going on with crime and the inner city, it's lack of fathers, right? Like they're not there. And you look at the inner city, you have 20% of households in the inner city are contain both parents. Whereas back in the 60s, which is a way more racist time, like you literally had separate water fountains, it was at 77%.
Wow.
So men as a species have gotten weak. And we can point to a lot of reasons that happen, right? Entitlements. And I think the feminist movement saying that women can do everything that men can do. No, you can't. And men cannot do everything women can do. Like I said, my wife was the nurturer in the household, whereas I was the provider. I was the protector. I was the disciplinarian. I was the one who showed the kids, how to do certain things in sports that even my daughter, I'm the one who's like, hey, if someone's going to coach this sport, it's going to be me, because I'm the more of the athletic one in the family. Not saying women can't coach sports, but just for our family, that's where it was. So imagine like you're in the inner city, you have no father. That's when kids turn to gangs. That's when kids turn to other things. And you have no man showing you the example of what it's like to be a man. It's not necessarily knowing how to parent. I have no idea what I'm doing. It's actually demonstrating what a man should do. Likewise, when you have a daughter needs to see what a man should be. So she doesn't get with some deadbeat drunk, some deadbeat woman beater. And kids who are in situations where you have a woman beater or a domestic abuse person, or you have an alcoholic, the child is more likely to become an abuser or an alcoholic. And if a female, she is more likely to marry or get with a drunk or an abuser, because that's all they know. That's their norm.
The cycle needs to be broken, and we've gotten to a very here, because here's where I'm at. I saw another interesting video where it was basically this. It shows this very effeminate male dancing around, and then the guy that was speaking, he basically gets in there and says, so this is why my daughter's got to sign up for the draft, because they are talking about that. They're talking about women signing up, which is, I am so I hate to say this, but I'm like ashamed of America that we have even thought about drafting women into the military. Like, I'm ashamed of America.
Well, Israel's been doing it for decades, but that's because they don't have enough people.
That's because they don't have enough people, and they built different than us. They're built different. I mean, I'm not talking like their culture is completely different. Like, so we're going to draft women, modern women, who most modern women have a hard time going outside without makeup on. Okay, because how we have been so hard on them about wearing makeup and their appearance and everything like that. Because me and you have talked about this. I love it when my wife doesn't wear makeup. I think that's the best she fucking looks to me. Like,
I can't even tell if my wife's wearing makeup. I don't notice anything at this point in our relationship.
Right. But so now we're going to draft them. Like, I'm sorry, but we're America. We should not be drafting young women into military service. Wo's going to make the babies? Okay.
That's why we protect women, because women can get pregnant one time a year, whereas men can impregnate as many women as they have time to have sex with. Right. I mean, it is what it is. And the problem is also they blurred the lines where they started that whole, well, anybody can be a woman. So in that case, anybody can be a man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the issue, is that we've blurred the lines, the biological lines of what women and men are and what their roles are in society. Now, again, I've told you before, the best CEO I've ever worked with was a female.
Oh, yes.
And I think women can do a lot of things men can do, but not everything. Workplace, yes. But there's a reason why the most dangerous jobs are done by 99% men, because men are more likely to do that shit. And there's a reason why university has been taken over by women, because men have found that you make just as much money without going into debt, going into a trade that women don't want to do.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I totally see that too. Like, that's run businesses, be strategic. I mean, women can be very strategic. Like,
women are amazing CEOs, because
amazing CEOs.
They have a softer, and I mean this in a complimentary way, dude, because a dude like, so I'm not this way. I'm actually Alan's seen how I deal. I'm a very rah type manager. Yeah. I never, ever come at any of my employees with negativity. I'm anti-negativity. But females, they have a better way of dealing with turmoil in the company. They're way better at negotiating, not negotiating terms per se, because sometimes you need to be aggressive, but negotiating within their own company and sometimes getting the best out of their employees with a softer touch. Whereas a lot of dudes are like, fuck you, it's what I said to do it. And I've seen women do that too, which is awesome, but they balance it out. So I don't want to, as someone with a very, very strong, almost masculine, overpowering daughter, I don't want to say by any means, again, I want my daughter to run shit. I'm not saying by any means women can't do what men do. I'm saying that if my daughter has a child, she's the one who's going to be breastfeeding. She's the one who's going to be coddling. And hopefully she finds a husband who's able to, to replicate more of what I did in the relationship, which is, and she learned those qualities from my wife. She learned those nurturing qualities from my wife. Whereas, she learned the business and well, my wife's great at business too. But unfortunately for my daughter, she learned a lot of her aggressive demeanor from me.
Well, I mean, but even still, the aggressive demeanor for you're saying you have is different in business, but that's also because there's different levels to being a high value man too. And I hate to use the word high value.
Oh no, you're one of those guys. Because
the Twitter guys. But here's the thing: you should be able to deal with any topic. I find this amazing. People think that if I'm in a situation where I'm in front of a room of business people, I don't swear. I'm able not to. I worked as a corporate executive for a long time, but there's a time and place for everything, right? But the thing is, I think you do how I used to manage too. When I managed 1,000 people, it was always praise in public, and then nothing was a problem. It was just an area of opportunity for improvement. Yep. You know what I mean? There's no problems. It's just an area of opportunity for improvement.
Bingo.
Here's the area we need to improve upon. What is the 3-step or 5-step plan we can do to improve upon it? And men, you should take this into your lives and think about stuff like that. Take a look at what you got going on. If you are a pussy, which most of you are, which most of you are, find a way to be a little bit more confident. I mean, dude, we get to say that because look at the population. They're all fucking weak. Pieces of shit.
But I think if someone's listening,
not you guys watching. You guys watching are awesome. Yeah,
I think that and a lot of people who might be watching. We have obviously a lot of people who watch us who are overweight, but those are people who are trying to improve their life. And aren't afraid for a little bit of tough love and honesty. They want to hear that. They need to hear that. And that's what the best coach ever had. If all of my coaches were like, Mark, that was an amazing down block. That was great. And even though I fucked up, I would be a horrible football player. But because I have coaches who are like, Lobliner, you fucked up. And then I was like, well, what did I do wrong? They're like, well, you got to put your head on this side. Watch for them ripping the arm under. You want to get under their shoulder pads. You need someone to kind of show you the way. But to show you the way, they got to tell you you're wrong in the first place.
Yeah, absolutely. But and the thing is, if you are currently losing weight, you're trying to do better. You are doing the things you need to do to improve upon yourself. I just find it amazing where, we're sitting here on the brink of WW3.
Yes.
And there's so many dudes out here, I'm saying, we need to do this and we need to do that. Listen here, soft hands. Your mother, most of the dudes that are talking about how we should go in here and go and do this shit like that, none of them have ever been in a very hard physical situation their entire goddamn lives. I like some of these people, but some of these people, Ben, I think Ben's an incredibly intelligent guy.
Ben's awesome, but he's never fucking done anything hard in his life. Hard
you
for
need to
him
shut the
studying,
fuck up, dude.
Hard for him was fucking studying for his bar mitzvah test. Jesus Christ, this guy has never done anything challenging. He's a smart guy. So going through law school for him was like you and I fucking writing our name on a fucking cereal box.
Right.
It's the guy's a fucking genius, but he's like, we need to go to war. It's how about you, take off your yarmulke and shut the fuck up for a little bit, bro. Let's calm down and let's think about this for a second. The problem is there's no perspective. These guys have never suffered. That's the thing I was talking to Gina about today, Alan, is, I didn't come from Brentwood, Tennessee. I came from a different wood, right? There's a different word in front of the letter, the wood, where I grew up. And where I grew up, like a lot of people don't have perspective. Like I like when people go like, you see thugs committing crimes. Like, why don't they just stop doing it? In the inner city, you have to do that. You almost have to have gang affiliation or else you get fucked up every single day. And a lot of these kids don't have dads. So the gang for them is their family. So we look at things from one thing, but a lot of people lack nuance and they lack the ability to empathize, which, by the way, is one of the only things that makes us different from animals is our ability to empathize, at least from what we can tell via the science we have available. I think dogs can empathize. I really think dogs can feel pain, feel others' pain. But think about it this way. If you've never lived in the fucking streets, if you've never had your electricity cut off because you couldn't pay the bill, if you've never had someone kick your ass because you were a certain color in a certain neighborhood or you wore a certain color, you can look at it, you could research it, but you never truly fucking know. You never truly know. Like people say, there used to be a saying like, well, you'll never know what it's like to be black. I'm like, you're right. I've never been black. But I've been white in an all black area. So I know what it's like to be different. And I know it fucking sucks. And I understand. And I can empathize with what you're feeling. And when you feel different and everybody looks different than you, we need to stop that shit, by the way. But I fucking understand. And that's the problem is no one can look in other people's shoes. You know what? My mom literally fought for the country of Israel. She literally fought and killed Arabic people. She killed a lot of them. Okay? But here's the deal. I empathize with the poor Palestinians who are caught in this fucking war because Ben Shapiro, just because they voted for Hamas doesn't mean every Palestinian is in the fucking Hamas. Listen to this. They're like, well, they voted for him. I didn't vote for Biden. Why should I be fucking punished for what we're doing in Ukraine?
Exactly.
Like, why are we killing innocent Palestinians because Hamas is shit? Like, they didn't, not everybody voted. They won by over 50%. So did Biden.
Yeah. The
like,
thing is,
what a dumb fucking thing.
They want this war so bad. And don't get me wrong. Like, here's my thing. I think if somebody came to America and tried to fuck with us, I think we should fucking I'm talking drinking beers at the end of it from their fucking polished ass skulls. Like I'm you know how I am. I'm like kind of a fucking barbarian when it comes to that shit. However, we are being invaded. We have a wide open border and we're worried about what's happening over there. And I don't want I don't want any innocent people to die. No. That's my thing. Like, I don't want any innocent people to die.
$100 billion, Alan. Biden wants to split it 60-40, 60 Ukraine, 40 Israel, $100 billion in aid when we're $33 trillion in debt. That's like me borrowing from my neighbor to loan you money.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Why the fuck are we at a high interest rate? Like, these loans aren't free, Alan. America pays interest on them. It grows every second. The problem is, like, here's what we do. Well, what do you suggest to do? Okay, here's what we do. Yo, Israel, you got this, bro. Peace. All right. Hey, Ukraine, sucks. But Russia really wants that trading pathway. Oh, and we probably shouldn't have put NATO fucking bases right next to Russia. You didn't think that would fucking trigger them a little bit? If we didn't get involved in this shit in the first place, Russia wouldn't have done it. Oh, by the way, you know who started Hamas? Israel. And we did. We did it. We did it because they were fucking, they were anti the old Palestinian leader. For those of you who remember that, Yasser Arafat. Okay, all this shit that's happening is because of shit we did.
Yeah,
we created Hamas. The Jews created Hamas,
and we've funded both sides of this shit. But to your point about the debt, imagine this, right? I think that every American, our government should make it so that every American should be able to borrow the way the federal government borrows.
Yes. Why should I?
We run a 25% deficit every year.
Yes.
And never get turned down for a loan. Like, do you know how, if you were, and this goes to any of you, if you were 20 years or 15 years of your total gross income in debt, if you were 15 years of your total gross income in debt, and budget and your household budget was going to put you at a 25% deficit, no bank would ever fucking talk to you. And you know what? They probably shouldn't. They likely shouldn't. But we're just going to keep borrowing money as if it's like not a problem to give away. It's not like that's my biggest, that's where I really get upset the most. If we're going to play this fucking monopoly money bullshit, at least have this monopoly money bullshit do something for American citizens. But gas is still $3.30 something, and people are losing their homes. There's a rent. There's like people can't afford mortgage rates. People can't afford groceries. I mean, groceries are crazy. I feel bad. Like we do what you do. We buy like a quarter a cow, and it helps save on the cost of shit. But holy fuck, like meat in the grocery store is like $18 a pound for fucking for shit.
I got something for you. So I read today that the average. So if you make under $125,000 a year, you can't afford a median priced home. Okay. And keep in mind, the average salary is between, I believe, depending on region, $59,000 and $75,000 a year. Yep. So meaning that the average American cannot afford an average home.
Right.
That's a fucking problem. And here's another thing. I thought you'd find this fucking insane. So we're buying Thomas is turning 16, so we're buying him a car. Okay,
Jesus.
So yeah, no shit. So my wife's at the dealership right now. I went there this morning. We test drove, and so we're buying a car, and so I'm like, cool. Like, well, we have a $750 rebate if you finance it. I'm like, well, I just want to buy that shit with cash. Like, no, you don't get a rebate if you do that. So I don't get like a prepay rebate. No, only if you finance. So what we're doing is we're paying whatever we can, right? Just putting some down, and we're paying it off right when the first bill comes, just buying the car to get a $750 rebate to finance it. Yeah. So they are literally encouraging you to have debt. Yeah. They are encouraging you to go into debt. I'm like, yes, I would like to just buy this shit. Because you know me, I'm a debt-free guy. If I can't afford it, I don't buy it. Everything's paid in cash. I don't fuck with that shit. Right. I'm debt free and I plan on staying that way. I'm not one of those, I leverage debt. Fuck that. I don't leverage debt. Okay. I don't leverage debt. So I'm like, I'm going to just buy this car. They're like, well, you got to finance it to get the better deal. In what fucking world does that make sense that they're fucking awarding me for going into debt?
It's insane. Like somebody just said, so to save $750,
yeah, Crystal, actually, it's before the interest to kick in. So as long as, the first bill comes in. So let's say the car is $40,000 and let's say we spend $10,000, we get the check. It's before the interest starts accruing because it's the first bill and we pay it off and then we just send them a check for $30K. So it's actually $750 less. We just make two payments instead of one. I was just going to go in like, how much is it? Here's a cashier's check. Have a nice day. Yeah. And it was instead we have to fucking do all this financing paperwork, all this bullshit. And it's just fucking ridiculous. No, there's no application fee. No, it's Infinity has none of that. Oh shit. I just gave away what car we're giving Thomas. Yeah. He knows he's there. My wife and him a bit. So yeah, going car shopping. We found a really nice car, really good price. So I'm like, yeah, just get it. I mean, and I'm gonna drive it until he can drive it. So I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, about that. That's awesome. Yeah, but I mean, it's we've got stuff so backwards. I just always wonder why, like more people, like we're being distracted. Okay, like the other day, dude, the hospital thing with the Hamas.
Yes,
like, they were trying to say that Israel bombed a hospital that killed 500 people.
Yeah,
and everybody went on and like. I literally looked at my wife and she was like, I don't buy it. She's like, I'm not believing it until I see it. It turns out not only did Israel not bomb the hospital,
Hamas did.
Hamas did, and it didn't even hit the hospital. It hit the parking lot of the hospital.
Yeah. So I knew this. I knew for a fact it wasn't Israel. One is that it's just not optic. Israel's very good at optics.
Yeah.
They're very good at optics. They're very good at making themselves look good. And they do a lot of dirt. They do. But my mom, when I was a kid, would tell me, and again, my mom was involved in conflict in Israel. She didn't just serve during peacetime because peacetime doesn't exist. And she served during the 70s, man. That's when the shit went real fucking weird, right? So like my mom would tell me that and this is before the internet, that my mom used words that I'm not going to use here. She was very racist against it, as a lot of them are, meaning Arabs and Jews. They hate each other, if you didn't notice, at least those regions. So my mom used to say that they would bomb schools and shit just to say that Israel did it. And this is before I even knew about any of this. So I immediately, when that happened, I'm like, nah, Hamas did that shit. So the problem is both sides, and I like Jake Shields. He's the MMA guy, great guy. But he's gone like, at first it started like I'm neutral, and then he's almost like on this anti-Israel kick where he's taking every and look, man, babies and kids are going to die. It's war. It sucks. Showing videos of dead babies and dead kids, you can show it on both sides. It's unfortunate. The good news is back in the day, the news used to shield us from it. But good or bad, I think people need to know what war causes. War causes innocent people to die. And that's why I am anti-war. That's why I am anti-intervention. At the end of the day, the reason this shit's going down, as bad as it is because we literally started these organizations. Yeah.
Oh, I completely agree. And war has become a video game to people. Like most people have no idea of the concept of what's going on. And that's why we got a bunch of weak ass men calling for war. Like I used to have this thing, like when 9/11 happened, I was a full ass on adult when 9/11 happened. Right. Yeah. I was, I was 21 and all of a sudden I was like 31. So I was like 30 or something like that. But all of a sudden, because I'm substantially older than Mark, but not
substantial. I'm still old.
But all of a sudden, like a year, like 6 months after it was done, like they just stopped showing the image of the video of 9/11. And I don't know if it was because they didn't want necessarily people to see, be able to examine it like that. Because I still do find it funny that both buildings fell in an exact imprint. That's actually hard to fucking do. It makes it so it brings up questions, and I can understand not wanting questions. Yeah. But my thought was, you should show that shit every day, because that shit every day means that we get to see what war is actually like. You just watched 4,000 people die. That is what war is. Because I've got a news flash for everybody. Children died in that. Babies died in that. Like the aftermath of what happened was horrible. What the countries we're talking about already, these people are not, like, Israel has got some good shit going on, but the people in Gaza are it's like an open air prison, and their rulers are horrible to them. So I mean, they're like, there's people on both sides of this. There's Ukrainians that are awesome people. I've had Ukrainian clients and I've had Russian clients. You know what they both want? Peace. They don't give a shit. They want to stop worrying about shit getting bombed all the time. You know what I mean?
Real quick, Essa, rewind. So this is a podcast, so we cover many topics, but we just need one for the title. That's what we usually start with, or at least come close to starting with. So I'm sorry if you didn't want to hear this, and I mean that, but it is us just talking, and also both of us have ADHD, so who knows what the hell. So I want to go into that. It's, you notice the people cheering for war have never actually gone through war. Like, you don't see the veterans like Tim Kennedy and those guys. They don't want war. However, I want you to hear me out. When we got attacked on 9/11, everybody here brought out their pitchforks and torches and we're like, let's go fuck up whatever country did this to us. Okay, Israel just got fucking not only attacked, but they had innocent Americans, Israelis, and tourists who they make a lot of money on. It is the Holy Land people travel to, not just killed, paraded around, spit on in the back of pickup trucks with their legs dislocated and broken in all ways. Children, teenagers, beautiful women, not soldiers. So Hamas literally on fucking paragliders, which was a fucking cool visual. I got to give them that. They came across and fucking woof, and just purposely murdered and paraded around the bodies of civilians. And now we have the nerve, AOC, Rashida Tlaib, that C word, and all these people have the nerve to call for a ceasefire. Can you imagine if someone called for a ceasefire after 9/11? And by the way, Israel's population compared to ours, this was bigger than 9/11. It killed more percentage of Israelis than 9/11. How dare we call Israel for a ceasefire? In my opinion, okay, Hamas straight up, they said, oh, it was us. Okay, you happen to be hiding your shit in Palestinian schools. Who are we to tell Israel not to fuck their shit up? If I was the leader of Israel now, I would be like, okay, innocent people are going to die, but you know what? This can never happen again. We got to make a statement. I'm turning that entire fucking place into a parking lot. And you know what? Unfortunately, civilians are going to die, but it is what it is. And you know why I'm not insensitive? Because every single one of you watching this right now thought the same thing on 9/11. You were thinking Afghanistan. I want that shit to be, because you know why? Because we had social media. We didn't have social media, but we had the news back then. Every single liberal news host was calling for the fucking beheading of every Muslim.
Yep.
Every Muslim. And it wasn't even a Muslim thing. That's
my thing. Like, okay, and people are like, well, Israel's done this and blah, blah, blah. Listen, what just happened was probably like one of the more horrific acts of terror that we've seen in the social media age, where it was done purposefully to incite horrific feelings and emotions in the Israeli people. Like they came in, raped women, like raping women, killing babies. Like it was not, they didn't attack a base. Okay, they attacked a fucking festival,
and it's just, it's unfortunate that innocent people are going to die. But again, like, I like people marching for Hamas. Like, here's the problem: people are celebrating these pro-Palestinian, pro-Hamas marchers. I'm sorry, these are sick people. I am not marching celebrating Israel killing innocent people.
Right,
I'm not, and I never will. I will never stand for that. But I do understand. Because I was there on 9/11. I wasn't like anti-Muslim. I love Muslim. Some of my best friends, I hate when people say that. But honestly, to be honest with you right now, if I was to choose a faith, it would be the Islamic faith. I love that faith. I love Islam. I love it. I love it. But I'm speaking as a nation, the Palestinians, the Hamas. We cannot, I hate this, but these people are literally going out celebrating them killing they're colonizers. You mean that beautiful woman visiting from Germany and who had her legs broken in all different directions? You're telling me she's a colonizer? She went to a fucking world peace music festival.
Right? Like,
I mean, this was a music festival for world peace.
Okay, so say me and somebody else are beefing, right? Like, and we're going back and forth. And they hate me and they think I've wronged them for whatever reason, right? And then they show up at my family, at one of my family picnics, and I'm not there, and they hurt my family, right? Because they hate me, right? My family has nothing to do with it. Like, my friends and family, they injure them or kill them or something like that. I'm gonna let you know that that person's dead. Yeah, like, that person's dead. And if I accidentally get some of their family also, I'm sorry, but that person forfeited your life.
That's some John Wick shit right there.
there's no fucking way I would let that stand. And I mean, no fucking way. And I don't expect Israel. I don't think we should be taking a side as America, supporting either side. But if I was Israel, I would be fucking these people up. Like, straight fucking these people up.
Can you believe that people are in the streets celebrating that initial attack? I can understand the overall fucking shit going on out there. Like, hey, I don't like the fucking Gaza Strip. I think it's inhumane. Yeah. Okay, we understand that. But to be like, no, they were fighting for no, hold on. What did those people at the music festival do other than have a good time celebrating and cheering for world peace? Right. So at this point, honestly, if someone celebrates that, I'm sorry, you're a bad person, and I don't want you sharing this planet with me. I would honestly be like, hey, you know what? If America isn't going to do anything, let's just wipe out those people. I mean, if you're celebrating innocent lives being lost, I'm sorry, you're a bad person, and you do not belong on this earth. You belong somewhere else. You belong.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm sorry, like, that is the definition of evil. And I want to go into this. Evil people on both sides, tragedies. I celebrate. I have yet to see. I've yet to see an Israeli celebration for killing Palestinian babies and kids and innocents.
I have yet to see that too.
I've yet to. If you've seen it, Mango, I'd love to see it. Please show that to me, because I'll definitely admit I haven't seen it. I'll claim ignorance. I'm not saying it didn't happen, but I've seen videos of Hamas supporters in the U.S. literally attacking Jews. Mm-hmm. But then again, you had that crazy landlord stab that 6-year-old kid. I mean, there's crazy people on both sides, but as a whole, you don't see Israelis like, yeah, go kill Palestinian kids. But you do see these. And what about the colleges, Alan? Like,
what the fuck's going on with that shit?
I mean, at the end of the day, they like communism and they like people to be subjects of tyranny. And that's where they are.
Having a kid in Harvard right now is almost worthless.
It's worth something. I mean,
I mean, they're charging you a lot of money, but I mean, I'm sorry, like it's still like Harvard is basically standing behind Hamas. You know, like, really, and I'm weird. Just like, what the fuck are you doing? Like this, I don't give it's not about nationality and it's not about religion even. It was an act of extreme terror against people at a World Peace Festival. Like the action, like it was just so fucking ridiculous, you know?
Yeah, but no, I'm talking about this exact war, Manga. There's footage of Israeli people attacking old Arabs, spitting on them, celebrating Ramadan attacks. There are bigots. Those are just Jewish bigots. But I'm talking about the marches we have right now concerning this issue.
Right.
Are there have you seen any footage of pro-Israeli people? All I've seen is footage of them praying together. And again, it could be, I'm not saying the media is showing us the whole picture. I am not saying that. I'm saying that this is a different thing. Like, I can find a lot of things about Jews being bad. Ever hear of Epstein? Like, Jews do bad shit. They're bigots. That's horrible. I think all of them should be fucking pimp slapped.
I mean, look what they did to Kanye.
Yeah, dude, fuck it. If it wasn't for what they did to Kanye, this would. I'm not going to go there. That's a bad joke. I'm not saying it. Yeah.
We're already demonetized.
I'm not saying that. Yeah. So you got so I think honestly, I'm with you, Alan. I think it's, but again, I still refuse to lump Hamas in with Palestinians. They did not. They just happen to be in an area that's about to get fucking fucked up.
Well, to that degree, I don't lump Americans in with our federal government much anymore.
No,
because they're not acting on behalf of most of us. Most Americans do not want war. We want affordable gas, be able to buy groceries, be able to fucking kick it back on the weekends and fucking have a good time. You know, most of us, we just don't want to be fucked with, you know, but you know, our government is hell bent on starting World War III, it seems. Anyway, hey dude, I need to run, man.
Same.
All right.
Thank you guys for watching.
Thank you everybody for watching. I'll be back tomorrow at some point in time. I don't know. And Mark, man, always great. We'll talk soon.
Likewise.
Bye.